Hey guys, this is Monique Leslie, Misfit Crafter, Misfit Crafter Studio, Misfit Crafter on all social media. Sorry I'm not on my face, it's a disaster, but I thought I would just pop on here live um, just to do some prepping with everybody um, of some junk journal inserts that I have. Um, I'm going to put out a short video later on, and there's already one of me making these little kind of traveler's notebook sized junk journals. So earlier I was prepping all of my covers. My goal is to make 30 of them to put in my shop. So I think I'm at 8 fully made ones so far. So I'm hoping to get the rest of them made. Uh, so here's what I've done so far, just so you can see. Sorry, I'm wearing my chunky um, craft sweater. This is the one I wear for everything because it's already messed up. So if I get glue on it or whatever, it doesn't matter. So you keep seeing the sleeves that are all like messed up. That's why. So far I've made 8 of these really cute junk journals. And I gotta figure out why my camera is like mirrored. So I apologize that it's mirrored. I should have like unmirrored it earlier. So sorry if everything's kind of backwards. So I'll hold it this way, I guess. But that's really annoying, the mirroring. But this is basically all the junk journals that I've made so far. They're super duper cute. I would like to know why the video is mirrored. I've never had it mirrored before. And I don't know if I can change it. Give me 1 second. Let's see if I can change this for you guys. Which I believe I can. Sorry about the whole mess. Give me 1 moment. I'll edit this out for the replay, guys, but I didn't realize it was mirrored. And there's something up with it. All right, I apologize. I'm not quite sure why it's mirrored for today. It's going to stay that way. Next time it won't be. It's not a big deal. It's not going to really interfere with what I'm going to show you guys, but basically I'm going to be prepping junk journals pages. I've already done all my covers to equal 30 covers. I think I actually made 31. So I've already cut all kinds of different covers out of just nice cardstock. I made sure it was cardstock that was going to bend well. Wasn't going to get any cracking out of it. I had a few that they had cracked on some other paper pads that I had, but it's going to be a variety of them. Basically, all I did was cut my paper or my cardstocks 8.5 inches wide by 8 inches tall. Just scored straight down the middle at 4 1/4, corner rounded my corners using my Crop-A-Dile corner rounder so I could get a lot of them done at once, thicker. So let me go ahead and put that out of the way for a moment. So all my covers are ready to go. So what I need now is to prep all the insides. So all of the cute papers and finds and book parts and pages and bits that go on the inside. And basically I'm doing it kind of junk journal style, traveler's notebook size, because I like that because you can kind of just do a lot in them and take them with you in your purse or whatever if you like to draw or do whatever. They're like a really good size for that. You can see these are the ones that I did before with different books and papers and things like that that I found. Not too long ago, I went to, what is it called? Deseret Industries, kind of like a Goodwill, to get some books and things. I found this really cool book about a cathedral, and I took that apart. I'm slowly pulling that guy apart. And some other books and stuff like that that I've had before, and started making everything with it. And then today, which was kind of cool, I used to be a notary, and I found one of my old notary books, which is practically empty. It's got like 3 entries in it, so that's cool. So we're just going to go through this pile of different binds to take apart, and I'll show you all the different ways that I take apart things and make my pages and prep them. So for the notary book, this one's actually pretty simple because this one has an easy center point here. I just grab it, try to push down that center, grab me a good pair of scissors, and this one's surprisingly just bound with some string, which makes it easier. So I'm just pulling that off and pulling away these pages. And you want to pull them up carefully so that they pull straight out and they don't rip. However, these were poked. They must have been poked all together really good because some of the holes are like inside each other, so you gotta pull them apart. But basically, just chop that off. And I'm just pulling apart these notary pages. So off camera, I am going to take out the 2 notary pages that actually have people's information that I did. That one does not. So I'm only losing a very small part of the book. Actually, there are halves of them I can even use. So the information are on these 2 pages here. So I'm just going to cut off the other end of these guys. And I will file away the 2 pages where people actually sign. That is just a sample. But don't want to be putting people's information out there. Oh, sorry about that. But yeah, so see, these are the actual notary pages and what they look like. So these are like perfect size. And these are like almost perfect for the size that I want. So basically, got a good long things here. So I mean, I can use these for all kinds of different sizes. I don't know why I never filled this one out. This must have been like an extra book that I must have just popped open or something at the time because there was like really nothing in here. So it looks like this one has 2 thinners, 2 sets of signatures. So I gotta find the other one. That was one of them. Let's see if I can find the other signature in here. It's probably the hardest part is finding the actual signature. And it's weird because it's not like super obvious, which is odd. There it is. Okay, got the other signatures. So apparently this was made with 2 signatures tied in there. Come on. All right. Just pushing that back real good. And I'll show you what I do to like, if I want to use the whole sheet so somebody can like pull it out. I like making folded out pages a lot so that people can use them. Now, one thing you want to have on hand is when you start taking apart a book is you're going to want some good pointy scissors, some good serrated scissors, a heat gun of some kind. I keep hitting this pole. It's driving me crazy. A heat gun of some kind. You want some sort of, and I'm sorry, I had to move myself over and I'm on a very high chair, so it just shook everything. You want some sort of utility knife, X-Acto knife. Those all help. I usually also have myself like a little cutting knife or something to help me like pull off staples, things like that, anything that I need to like pull off. So let's take this guy out. These are like in there, even though they're just seem tight in there. I'll try to get the cover off at the same time. There we are. Very carefully pulling out these so I don't rip any of my pages. That guy's in. I must have missed one. Oh yeah, there we go. I missed parts of those strings just a little. There they are. So they came right off. And so all I'm left with is like the cover pages. Yeah, So now I just have the 2 cover pages, which I can take apart and do all kinds of stuff. And these are really cool for, I think I'm actually going to make one of these cover. It's actually really nice, laminated-ish type of material. So I can use this for a cover later if I want to. So here's the notary book pages, and these are the ones that I cut off from the ones that had some info on them. So they're pretty good size. My book itself basically is 8 inches by about 4 1/4 inches. My inserts I cut to 8 to 8. Yeah, 8 by 8, sorry. So that they don't kind of stick out of right here. I don't mind if they stick out a little bit up and down. Sometimes they get cut kind of funny. That's okay. So I'll go ahead and put this back on. All right, so say for instance for this half sheet, what I would do on this one is, because I'm doing the 8 by 8, I'll just put this guy out of the way. Basically I want to make sure that I have a good size. I gotta say I'm really loving this board that I finally broke down and got, which is the We Are Memory Keepers Trim and Score kind of all-in-one tool. It's a multi-tool, which is great because I can just do everything with it. All right, so it's just over 8 inches, and because it is corner rounded, I am going to chop off end to end. I guess I'm chopping off more than I wanted, but that's okay. All right, if you're ever like right on the edge like that, start in the middle and work your way out. You get less of a chance of it punching up on you like that. Don't lose that. Okay, so 8 by 8. It's already 8 here, so fine there. I'm going to do 8 by 8 here. I was going to fold them in a little, but there's not a lot to fold in. Actually, what I could do with this one, since it's a little bit bigger, what do we got? 10 1/2. So we fold this in half, 5 1/4, instead of actually having to cut anything really off of it. We could fold it in half, which for some reason I cannot seem to fold in half today. To save my life for some reason. There we go. So if we fold it in half, and we're going to go so that we are at the 4-inch mark right here. We can use this right here to score. Then we'll have these 2 ends, whichever way you'd like to fold them, to make a couple of little thin pockets. Like, you don't always have to like cut off the ends. You could. I like making little thin pockets out of things like this. I think it's kind of cool. Okay, here's a habit I have to get out of. Do not put glue on while you're on top of your board. All right, so you just gotta pop that out a little. And if you are new to my channel, I have been a long time away from social media and things like that, off and on. I'm always here, but I've been much more steady now and plan to stay that way. If you have been watching me for a very long time, I thank you for sticking by me all this time. I'm doing this for, gosh, going on like 17 years probably now. 16, 17 years since my son was born, basically, is what got me into like heavy crafting and professional crafting. And I haven't stopped since. You see, here's a really quick prepped page. You could tuck little things under here. So that's how I did that one. Now, your other thing that you can do is if the page is much longer, like this would make a really fun fold out. So let's go ahead and get to the middle of this guy and pop out some of these pages. I like these really long ones to put in this short book. See, very careful not to rip it or else you can't use it with the full 2 sheets together. All right, so I need to make this an 8 by 8. I'm going to do this. Remember, like I said, if you have nothing holding it down, start it from the middle and work your way outwards. And then you won't get it bunched up. This is so I can get most of that corner rounded section off. So we're going to go in here like an 8 by 8. Start in the middle again. So it doesn't bunch up too bad. And I don't mind if it's a little messed up. It's okay because it's a junk journal. Okay. And then we are going to score. And the cool thing is with this tool, if you just turn everything over, it's got your scoring already. So here's my fold right here. And here's my 4-inch mark. So we're going to score at 4 inches there. And then we have another 8 inches. There we go. Got phone calls coming in. All right. Now the hard part with this board is it's not long enough to finish off all your very large scoring. I'm learning that. So we're going to grab my usual scoreboard. Yes, I have many scoreboards. So we want to score at 4 and 8 for this guy. I'm going back on the other side because I want it to go the other direction as well. This is just to make sure no matter what direction I want to fold these on, I get a good score. Okay. So I guess that's one thing I got to look at with that board is that it does definitely have the scores, and unless I want to move them around and figure out math, sometimes that may happen. So with this guy, we are going to make it a very cool pull-out. Now you could do 2 things. You could make it just a full-on like pull-out unit, which is cool. And I somehow keep messing up my scoring today. There we go. That's a little better. So you could do 2 things. You could just make this a really cool pull-out kind of page, which I might actually do with this one. Or that second piece, you can make a pocket. So you have a pocket piece, which would also be cool. So I'm going to decide when I put it in the actual book. So now you have a page that can be like this. It can be a pocket. It can be a pull-out. It can be whatever you want. But basically, this would be the center right here, where you have it pop out wherever you want to. But I really like the way that that looks. Like kind of like if it was a pop-out, could still be a pocket. We'll see. That's another prep page of something you can do. That's one. So I have to prep. What did I figure out? Okay, so I need 11 sheets for each one of my books. Okay, 8 by 8. So 11 sheets, 8 by 8 is quite a bit. And I'm just gonna there. It's bugging me because you guys were like kind of uneven. But I need 11 sheets times 30. But I made some already, so I don't need quite that many, but I need a lot. So I need a whole lot. All right, so one of the other things that I got is this really cool little book of poems, or not poems, short stories, I should say. So I've already started taking apart some of it, um, but it's a book of short stories from, so I have two of them actually. So here's one, a book of short stories from a newspaper, I guess, from 1864, I believe it was. Um, so this is the spine. I already pulled the spine off. That part was easy. It was just a couple slices. But then all the different signatures are also in here. So once I find the signature, I'm able to actually pull out an entire section of the signature because these are sewn in as well. So once I'm finding it, I'm able to kind of like just snip through these signatures every time I find a signature. So these ones have been buried a long time, so sometimes they're hard to find. And I try to be as careful as possible so that I don't damage. And see, this is where I should be using this. That's what I got it for. Lift it and snip. Go in here and lift it and snip. And I don't know if there's like professional tools for this, but this is what I use. It's my little palette knife because it's bendy and I can get under there good. And I just snip. So once I got them all snipped off, see a little extra spot on that one. Come on, I see you. You're coming off. Sometimes the top page gets sacrificed. Then once I have that off, I can pull that signature off. I basically just have to go down and find the rest of the signature. So I think, yeah, I got down to the bottom part of the signature. We're just going to pull that away little by little and carefully. Like I said, there we go. So signature starts pulling away just a bit. All these threads are there. And I don't worry about them being in order because I prefer them not to be like the same story or whatever when I put them in a book. There you go. Okay, so I noticed that the signature, once I get to the end of it, it's glued into the rest of the book after. So each signature was actually glued. So there is a portion that when I get to it, I can only get out one side at a time. I can't get out the two sides. So those just kind of get gently ripped out. And those will be kind of more ripped in half. So I'll get both. I'll get a full set and I'll get like these. These were all ones that I was able to already take apart into full sets where I have both sides. So I'm able to get like a full binding center. It is a little bit sensitive because it is an older book, but still not too bad. Now for these ones, what I did is two things. So if the page is like this, where I only have one page and it's really short and I'm making it for this particular book, I will still score it at 4 inches. And what I did is score it at 4 inches and I'll put it in just to score and I'll pair up a couple. These ones I also did a little bit of printing. I was playing with my gel press and I was just doing a little bit of fun with these. But with these guys, what I did, let me show you, is when I put them in the book, I'll do it 2 ways. Oh wait, wrong one. Let me show it to you with this one. I'll do it two ways. So I will glue it to another page that already exists. So here's one that's been put in already. And on the other end of it, it's going to look something like this. So this is another page. This is that one flap. And what I did is I created a little pocket with this one. But usually I'll just glue them flat down and it just makes a cute little two-part paper. But this one I decided to make more of a pocket. I don't know if I'm going to keep it that way because it's a little thin. But see right here, here's the other pocket. And then here's the other page. So I still end up with two sides of sort of like that page, but they're attached to other pages and still scored in the middle so that they get put in. So that's one way that those are made when they're only one-sided like that and small. Now, if I have a good amount of the full sheet, here's a little bit that's kind of hard because they're very holy. As you can see, they get a ton of holes in them. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll get washi tape just to secure them a little bit more where the holes are. I'll just get something that looks kind of nice and blends in with the paper color. But this is just to help give them a bit of strength if I'm going to be making them like this so that they're still a full sheet. I want to give them just a little strength. And you don't even have to put them on both sides if you don't want to. If you want to use a thicker one so it shows on the outside. Most of this isn't even going to really show, but it is going to give it just a little bit of strength when I put these books together. And I just press it in there real good. So with this one, now I can go ahead and cut it like an 8x8 so that it just goes through. So with this guy, I'm just going to score that one right in the middle. And we are just going to cut this one up. So we need it 8 inches tall, which it pretty much already is. So this one is pretty much 8 inches. It ends up being like, I want to say like an 1/8 of an inch or 1/16 of an inch bigger. It just barely sticks out, as you can see. So I don't really like to cut it because I like it kind of showing. But here, we're going to cut this down. So it's only 4 inches thick. Now you could do the same thing, like I said before, you could score it instead if you want to, and you could just fold this back instead and then just glue the edges and you end up with a little cute pocket instead. If not, this is all ready for the 8x8 book. You can always do other things. Like I said, I really like just a little piece of washi tape in the middle to help reinforce it. You put it on both sides if you like. So here's another sheet nice and ready. And I just lay them out kind of flat. And I'm going to be doing this in batches after. But I just want to show you all the different kinds. So far we got a couple of pages ready already for a book. Now the next one I'll show you. It's really simple. Put the book ones aside. So these are some book ones already nice and ready. The next one is just your simple composition book. Super simple composition book. This one's actually held together with strings, but a lot of them. So, I mean, I was writing in these, but I wanted paper, so I just took them apart. So this one's the same thing. This one's super simple. It does have a lot of holes in the middle, but it's fairly sturdy. If you wanted to, you could also do the same thing and add the washi tape down the middle. But I would, just wait until you know what you're going to put it in so you have it something nicer. This one, you could do the same thing. They're a little short otherwise, so they're not going to be folded in half. This one's going to be cut to 4 inches. You could cut it or you could pocket it. So you could pocket it or make it a fold in. I think in this case, I might make this one a fold in. So And the good thing is like this paper is so thin, you could do several at a time. This one I think is going to be a fold in though. So I am going to score it at 4 inches. And this one I got to figure out like a plate or something that I can kind of hold down the page while I'm scoring it for a second, because you see this one's so flimsy, it's like crumples up a little. I want to get a good score in there, but it keeps crumbling on me. So if you got any tips for that, please let me know. All right, but I do have to cut this one down to 8 inches tall. So I need to cut off this right here, which is at about the 1/4 inch mark on that one. I want to keep the top this time. I said this one's thin, so I'm actually able to cut through a few papers at a time. What I do is these little scraps, you can either use them for like adding to like your tags and stuff like that. But a lot of these, what I'll do is if they're really thin, they go into a bag so that I can make them into paper again. Just kind of blend them up and put them on a screen and make paper. All right, so there's that one. So I think this one is going to be a fold out. Like I said, I really like making the fold out ones because you get more. Even though it's a small book, you can still get a lot of real estate out of it, which is cool. Here's one nice and ready to fold out. And this one I can make into a pocket. If you wanted to, so you could just cut the ends off. But these are perfect for all kinds of sizes of books. If you want to make a bigger book, I honestly don't think there's a rule to the sizes of books. The whole point is just making it into another book and making it useful. There you go. And if you wanted to, again, you can make a pocket out of this. Just pulling out the glue. When I put the glue on, I push outward to make sure that the glue is basically only on that end. And it's not like soaking in this way. You definitely don't need a lot for this paper. It's very thin, just depending on where you get the composition book. I don't remember where I got these. I got these a very long time ago. I've had these since the kids were like in kindergarten or first grade. So they are old. And my kids are teenagers now. So I know I've had these forever. More than likely Target's where we used to do all our school shopping. But then we decided to homeschool, so we didn't need as many supplies because they did their work on everything. All right, so now this one instead is set up with pockets. And I'm thinking this is probably going to get washi tape just to make it like super cute. But these are some pretty deep pockets. So if you wanted to, just to make it really cute or something, you could go in here with a little circle punch. I'm trying to see if it'll let me see it. Yeah, okay. Little circle punch. Give it a little notch. I'm going to tell you because this thing is so thin, it's being annoying. But you give it a little notch right there to pull your sheets out. I need to mark this so I can see exactly where that ends up. Okay. Right there. Nope. Okay. It's so thin it was really hard to like put the notch in. I don't know what it is. I don't know if anybody else has this habit. If you do, let me know in the comments. But I have a habit of pulling things to my side to do things. I don't know why. but there we go. It's notched and it's cute, and you could do all kinds of stuff with this. And you can add little things on the inside. So there's another one. And that was the composition book that we took apart. All right, so another book that I have, which is really cool, was a sample book of a book that I actually made for Amazon. And you can find it on Amazon right now if you like. So I made a swatch book for myself. But I published it to Amazon, so you can find it on Amazon right now if you'd like. It's called the Make Your Swatch Book. This was the first kind of draft of it. That's why it says like not for resale. It's just a draft of the book that I made. It was just so that I could see what it looked like, figure out what I wanted to change, and I did actually change it. So here are all my notes for my changes. It's a paperback book from Amazon, so the paper is actually really nice. It's like 55 pound, nice smooth paperweight. It has a little bit of a tooth to it, just a little bit. It's not super textured, but it has a tiny, I always call it a tooth, where you can kind of just feel something there. The actual swatch book, like I said, is available on Amazon if you want to get it. Each of these actually got a little bit bigger. It still has 3 lines to be able to write whatever you want, but there's a slight bit more space on it, and there are 5 on each roll instead of 6, because I wanted these squares to be a little bit bigger, and the backs are blank because I did find that it does bleed through a little bit if you're using something that's very saturated. But other than that, the swatch book pretty much looks like this. But since this was a sample and I really didn't want it to go to waste, I was like, perfect, I'm going to use it for my junk journals and stuff, and I found that it's pretty cool. Now the only thing is with this one, it's glued on the side. So here's where your heat gun comes in handy. What you can do, grab your heat gun and just heat the edge. Just like that. You don't want to burn it, so don't do it too long, but if you make it nice and heated, it's going to make it much easier to yank these pages out. As you can see, now I can actually bend that more. I couldn't bend that before. And then the pages will usually come out a lot easier. I might have to heat it just a little more. Before I was like cutting them out and doing all kinds of other stuff to try to get these out, but usually if you heat them, yeah, there they go, they'll slide out easier. They're not like super hard to cut out, but I wanted it a bit more even. So like if you are using this for the swatch book and you want to cut out a page, you just rip it out. It's not a big deal, but I wanted it to come out just a little smoother. So I just heat it up. And there it goes. I ripped one. I ripped one because that's not the same one that I grabbed on the top. That's why that one ripped. It's not a big deal. I can still use it. There you go. So anytime you have a glued book, you see this is one where I had ripped it before. Anytime you have a glued book, though, just heat up the page a little bit, and they'll come right out. And that will get it out. So now I did the same technique to take apart this entire book. Sorry about that. So this was a giant book that I took apart. It was a how-to book from someone that I really love, but so I won this book. I have other books from the same author, but this particular topic wasn't more of my thing. It was about like embellishments and stuff. Not even embellishments. It was like more, it was bling. And most of it is more like jewelry-esque and stuff like that. And I don't make a lot of jewelry. That's one that I don't do. That's my mom. That's not me. So yeah. So with this one was simple. Like this one I actually just cut straight to size 8 by 8. worked out pretty well because it cut almost like in a perfect spot. The only part is right here. So I did like 8¼ by 8¼ so I could center these just a little bit better. 8¼ and then 8. I think that's still not even. That's okay. There we go. And then I just scored at 4 on this guy. So this one was easy. So you can use anything to make your books. That's the whole point of junk journal. It's like use things you wouldn't normally use. I knew I wasn't going to really want to use that particular swatch book because I made a better one and I republished it and I like that one better. So I didn't want these pages to go to waste and I wasn't going to use it as a swatch book. So I decided to use it for my junk journals. So that's one. All right. Now the other one is that big old book. This was that giant book, and I did the same thing. I basically just heated all the edge over and over again until I got this pulled apart. And I was actually pretty surprised. This one actually came apart easier than the swatch book. But I was heating it for a while. That one I didn't heat as long. But I heated it up, and then I just pulled out sections at a time. Some of them I probably have to yank a little bit of glue off of, but not too bad. So let's just go for, like, say this one. This one's a little pattern that was on the end of the book. And so it still has like a little bit of this weird decollete edge because of the way that it was glued in. It may have actually like been sewn in at some point, but I couldn't find like the threads to cut or anything. So I just had to pull it off with the glue. So it looks like it might have been sewn the way that this edge is, and it's very like precise as to where each one of these little guys are, like these little decal parts. But I was able to just pull them out. So like the ones that I pulled out like in sections, like you can still see they're a little bit stuck together, but then the rest of it just falls apart now. So with these guys, I really just did an 8 by 8. This one barely has a little edge left over. So I can take that off. Like I said, again, anytime you have one that is just a little bigger and you don't want to cut the ends off, you could always fold it in half and make pockets. With this one, I am just going to cut it 8 by 8 on this one. And score it at 4. I don't think I scored that one hard enough. Maybe do it again. Scoring it again. I don't think I pushed down hard enough. There we go. I'm just scoring that one. That one's an easy cut. All ready to go. And then some of the other ones that I did were really cute because they had like these little faces in them that look real cute. So depending on what you want to see first, it's cute because you can paint it and put other things on top of it to be ready for your page. So that one's kind of neat. All right, so another book that I had is, let me get the cover. It's a little far down there. Give me one second. And I keep all the covers because if you want to, you can use them for something else. Unless they're like really bad, then I'll just get rid of them. So like the cover for this next book's kind of gross looking almost. The outside's kind of but there's still some parts on the inside that I want to use. So this was like a book of a specific cathedral. Turin. My pronunciation in French is very bad now. I used to be good at this, but I like the cover because I can use this. This one was weird though. I got this one from Deseret for like $3. So it's great, good price. This one I was able to just cut it away and pull it out. What I found interesting was that this one had like, it's like almost like a cover, but it's got like a little pocket, and then I found like this in the pocket, but I think they cut this out of one of the last pages. Whoever was using this, there's notes and stuff in here, but it's all in French. Because we're in the US, or at least I'm in the US, it kind of looked cool. And see, like I yanked that off, but they were like glued down. It was really odd. But this is how big the book was. And this one I just kind of ripped out, and then I was able to just pull out the two little stitches. It literally had just two small stitches holding the rest of it together, and that was it. So this one came apart pretty simply. So there's two ways that I'm using these. Oh, and then I found my swatch hook. So if you want to see what the swatch book really looks like, you get 1,250 what I call medium swatch spots, and these are what your swatch spots actually look like. So you get 5 swatch spots by 5 swatch spots, so you get 25 per page. You have a little place to put a title and all of that. I have got to move that blade because I've already like felt myself swipe myself twice. But see the backs, I made them blank because some of them might get a little bit of ink on them. But this is actually my finished book. If you want to grab one on Amazon, they're only $10. You can only get them in the US right now because I'm still trying to figure out the whole international bit. Oh, and then just for that really big book, like this was the book. Like it was glued. So there was these little points, but I could not find, not even when I took off the spine part, I could not find like the threads. I'm sure they're in there, but I don't know. But this one's like destroyed. Okay, so back to the cathedral one. So there's two ways that I could use these. So this is a single-sided sheet only. So if you want to, and this one was simple, I very simply just cut this to an 8x8, and that's it. So this one I'm gonna do at 8 1/4, and then by 8 to kind of center those pages a little nicer. And then sometimes if like it's a cute center, if it's a nice center, like if I have like more of something being told, I'll try to center up the page a little bit better. If it's not too, if it's just mostly just a lot of words, nothing too often, it's already uncentered as you can see, then I just 8x8 it. This is actually, oh, I already did that part. Okay. But I'll usually like try to center it up a bit if it is like that. But this one's not, so we're just gonna 8x8 this one. And if you want to, just so you know, one of the other things you can do, which I wanted to do on one of these, is you could score it instead and make yourself another couple of pockets, and I'll show you. So I could just cut the straight 8x8, or so this one is 10 1/2, so I need to score at 2 1/2. You can make a pocket instead if you like. Pop that up like that. So here's the only thing I suggest if you're going to make it into a pocket. And you're folding it in half. So if you want to do all your scoring, score it while it's folded. It's easier. Just, you know what? I swear today my scoring skills and folding skills are horrible. Not usually this bad. Give it a good score so that when you fold it, it's very easy to fold down that center. Now, here is another trick to make it even easier, is that fold it in half, and this is your center. You could very simply grab a pair of scissors with your center here. So here's your center. You're going to cut a curve of some kind towards the other opposite point. And what that will do is give you more of like a tuck spot type of corner piece instead of it being like a straight pocket, and it just looks cuter because then you could go in here if you want and get your ink let me see here. This is for the ground espresso. But you can go in here and just ink up this edge really cute instead. So you have a very cute corner round, like rounded edge. The other thing I like to do is get just get my like decal scissors and stuff like that. Your fun little scissors. I don't know why I keep sliding to the right with this chair right now. It's driving me nuts. But you can get your little edger scissors, the ones that have like the cute little designs on the side, which for some reason I put them away the other day out of this drawer. So I was like, I won't need them for a while. But you can make a really cute edge instead. But then with this, all you do is glue this end only. I always kind of smear it so it's not so wet and it doesn't like smear everywhere. There we go. What I wish all the manufacturers would do with their bone folders is make them all Teflon coated. So when I get glue all over them, it comes right off. I've only seen like a couple of Teflon coated ones. It's not super hard to clean, but mine are always full of glue. And that's why I'm trying not to get this one messed up, because my other one is full of glue and paint and everything. But there we go. See, now you got yourself a nice little tuck spot instead. And it folds easier in the middle instead of you trying to get it to fold nicely and it doesn't pull. If you don't cut away right here, it will pull a lot more. So see, really cute little tuck spot now. Instead, you can put your tags and things in there. We got another page, nice and ready. So the other one that I've been having fun with is definitely the fold out on this guy. And I'll show you what I did with some of the other sheets that are double-sided. So I used the ones that were long and basically just cut them 8 to 8. And then I did kind of like an opposite fold on each one, so that when you're opening the book on each page, you're getting a really cute opening. I swear this is so weird because it's flipped and it's odd, but it makes a cute little fold out. Like I said, you could also, if you wanted to, cut it down a little bit and make pocket instead, but I love that one for that. I'm gonna use one of those. Then you have the usual. So these are all the ones that I did those cute little like all those bits out of. Here's those. Now, some of the other ones I did were just cardstock. I mean, paper cardstock, that's easy and plentiful. I put in just a couple of bits of cardstock so that it doesn't go to waste, because I have hundreds, if not thousands, of pieces of cardstock and paper that I can use. I'm actually starting to run out of like paper, like scrapbooky paper. That is so hard to find now, or it doesn't cost a fortune, and you can't seem to get it like in big pads anymore. I really miss DCWV's like giant paper pads. They used to have like these giant thick, just full of paper pads. And now everything is cardstock, and it just seems to be so hard to find it. I love this one. This one has like a cool texture to it. You can see like the edging. It's almost like canvas filling. I love that one. But these are just cardstock that I cut. This one's really pretty. I have one as a cover and I have one as an insert, which is really pretty because it's double-sided and cute. That's the other thing it's hard to find, is always double-sided. This paper, it's like a thinner paper, but I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of nice feeling. I don't know where I got it. I don't know if somebody gave it to me, if I got it from someplace else. It's thin, but it's not like as thin as regular scrapbook paper. I forget what it said it was from. I remember it was from an older company, but I don't remember buying it. So it must be in something I either bought from somebody or got from somewhere. Here's more of that book. All right, so the other one is just when I'm playing with stuff. This was just a mess. I was messing with the gel press, trying to transfer over a picture, do something, and I think this was like the background part that I just kind of smushed together. But I keep these so that if I want, and this was just on the composition paper, but I keep them if I want to like sketch through them or something, or like add more paint or add more layers to it. So I'm bad about throwing away ones that are like that, but that's just that. This is more, this one is a sheet of like practice writing paper for kids. And it was just like an old book that I found lying around that I still had, apparently some practice paper pad for my kids from forever ago. So I just ripped those out. They're thin this way, and for some reason they would not rip out nice, and I didn't have my heat gun at the time, so I couldn't like rip them out nicely. So a lot of them are all kind of like half chopped, which I don't mind. Um, but they're long, but they're thin. So they're not tall enough to be 8 inches, but that's okay. I kind of like that, just like as a little insert. But I was messing again with my gel press, so there's some that are kind of more covered and nice with some stenciling on them, and blank on the other side, so that way if somebody just wants to write on them, it's just different textures and stuff. This is the same paper, with just a wooden texture. And I did some more with another book that I'm going to show you and how I took apart that one. That'll be the last book that we'll be taking apart for now, which was, this one's big, an old birthday stars number kind of, it says a personology reference guide. I know I got this forever ago, and for some reason, like my mom and I both had one. So I think there's 2 of these in the house. I've had this as long as I can remember. I have no idea really how long I've actually had this one. But it's kind of neat because it has this thin aged paper in it. It is definitely put together with that little same technique that other book is of some kind. I can't just rip off the cover. I was starting to like just cut away pages because it came out kind of easily. Then as I started wanting to get some pages in the middle, that wasn't quite working. And I can't find, this is the same thing, like it looks like it has a stitch in there somehow, but like I can't find the stitch. So I don't know if like the stitch was there and then they took it out and glued it. I don't know how this is made. If anybody knows, let us know. This is going to be the same thing. This is going to be one where we just want to heat it. Now, keep in mind, this paper is way thinner, and there's a very big chance of burning this one with this heat gun. So be very careful if you're heating something like this very thin. It's almost like newsprint. Honestly, it feels like newsprint. So be very careful if you're heating one like this. See, this one's ripping. This one isn't even, the heat isn't working on this one quite right yet. And this is where I lost my, there it is. This is where I'm kind of just getting in here with this. Be very careful not to slip because these are thin. They're not like knife thin, but they're thin enough that they could cut you if you catch it the right way. So I'm just going in there to break some of that up. I don't know if I heat it enough, it will actually just slip out on this guy. Hopefully. Do this time. And I'm not trying to like heat the whole spine, just like the upper end, because I would never get to the other pages fast enough. Just kind of on a point of heating that part. Okay, there. That got nice and heated. Now they're just pulling right out. I can feel it's a little sticky. I'll pull out these ones that I already just tore out. it's ripping again. And give that a try again. It's ripping because these other pages are in there. So I'm gonna have to take these ones out somehow first. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start from the back. I don't think I started ripping any of that out. Yep. All right, decided to start from the back instead because the other part has already been ripped out. So this might be easier. Yeah. Now it's starting to just kind of come out. I can feel it like pulling away from the glue, and the glue is like sticky right here. So that's definitely going to be it for this one. There they go. Now it's just coming right out. That's cool. So that comes right out. So that's much easier. Started from the back. It's because I had already started from the other side and there was like all these little bits, so it just kept ripping it instead. So this one was actually really easy. Like I said, this one's cute because it has all kinds of different like zodiac signs, things like that, and it's like repeated, and there's like birthdays and stuff in here. And it's all nice and naturally aged already, so it's really cool. So with this one, I really like it too because, so this one's all the different stars. It's different star names, so it's kind of cool. All right, so this guy, I purposely I'm gonna find my 4-inch. See, it is 8.5 inches wide. So we just need to yank off a 1/4 inch off of each side to make it an 8x8. So 8 1/4. Again, I'm starting from the middle because it's a thin paper and I only have a 1/4 inch to knock off, so it doesn't bunch up on me and snag instead. So I know if I were to start at that outer edge, I'd likely to get a snag. All right, and then this one, I want some of that star info to pop out just a little better. So I'm going to cut off the very top. See, even with the bigger one, it almost snagged on me. And the 8-inch here. And then we are just going to score it down the middle. And this one, you could do the same thing. You can make pockets on the bottom if you want to, but this one is just kind of cool because it has different info about different stars. So it's a little readable. Okay. And now I have it. This one's like perfectly done in the middle. And almost all the pages in this book are like that. It's all written with a perfectly, a perfect gap in the center. So it all reads like that. It's cool for me. All right. So now I have probably plenty of pages to add to this guy. So we'll take a look. Just cleaning off my board a little. Try to keep it clean. It's new. I doubt it's going to happen, but still, I'll try. All right, so we need 11 pages. We got 1, 2, 3. I like that one. 4, maybe 5, 6, 7. What's the other one? Think about these two. 8, 9, 10, and do 11 with this guy, I think. Okay, so we have 11 pages at least here. So now it's just a matter of kind of putting them in the order I want and figure out which cover we are going to put this in. This one's got more of a pretty romantic-y type of feel, so let's do this cover. Or I definitely want it to be flowery or something like that anyway. Ah, here, let's do this one. That one is pretty. Okay. This one's really pretty because it has like these white roses and everything. And then like the houses. And then, like I said, I apologize. The picture is flipped. So my book actually opens like this. I know it's weird because it's flipped. All right, so this one I'm definitely going to put some washi tape in the middle. And I think on this one I'm going to put a really, really wide washi tape in this one. See, this is one thing I wish I could find more of is washi tape where the picture goes this way instead of where the picture goes this way. It's very difficult to find. So washi tape makers out there, if you want to start your own business in making washi tapes, please make more that are up and down like this. I hate wasting my washi tapes, so I'm going to be very careful with this one. Not use too much. Cut the edge off. Go over here. Cut that edge off. And then on this side, though, I'm going to do a different one. It's very plant-based since the front is very plant-based. This one has pretty little flowers and sunflowers and stuff in it. And I know I said I was only prepping it, but I figured I might as well just finish it off. And I just lost a damn serious. Always losing a bone folder. It's not like it's that small, but I lose it a lot. This bone folder is so different from all the other ones I've used. There we go. It's got a weird curve to it. So I'm going to have to fold this up better. There we go. So there's one with some pockets. Really cute. I think that one might be my first one. Right there. Actually, I want this to show, you know what, this is going to be my center. I decided that will be my center. And then let's do this one next. This one next. Another set of pockets. Let's give it some color actually first. And then that one here. I need to break up the beige and the white. That one, a little half sheet or a partial sheet and a half. Then that one. Then that one. And then gonna be this guy. Yeah, I think I'll do this one. So I'll break that one up just a little more with that guy. That's cute. Let's take a look. So we'll have this, this, and this I gotta move just a little more to the middle. This, and this, and this with the flip out, and this with a pocket, and that will be my center. I like it. All right, we're just gonna smash all that down, and that will be ready for later, which we will not do in this one. You will see another video that I just finished that I'll post after with me stapling everything together. But that's it. So we prepped all those pages and they are ready. So thanks for joining me. If you popped by for a second live, we didn't get too many people live today, but that's okay. And if you want to see more things like this, just go ahead and make sure that you like and subscribe. I'm going to try to pop on every Friday night for Friday Night Lives, and we will do some things together. I am an eclectic maker of things, so everything is always different, from Cricut to junk journal, sticker making, sewing things, sublimation, anything you can think of, candle making, and everything else. If you are an eclectic maker like me, you've definitely come to the right place. Again, like I said, don't forget to like and subscribe. That really helps out so that I can keep coming back over and over again. And I promise the camera will be flipped. Hopefully I can flip this before actually putting it for the replay. Thanks for watching. Bye.